Good morning, guys. Summer here, owner of Greensboro Downtown Yoga, hanging out at Greensboro Downtown Yoga. Before we jump into today's Yoga Sweat hybrid class, I want to just take a quick moment to ask you to subscribe to our channel. Click the little button below so that you can get notified anytime that we go live or post a new video onto our channel, which we post new content multiple times a day. So enjoy everything that we have and click subscribe. And if you're inspired and motivated by any of the content that we do provide or these classes, I would love it if you took a moment to donate to the studio and to our page. We have a Ko-Fi page set up, and you can see the link to that in the description below. Any support that you do provide is just to help us as a small business coming through COVID-19 and being able to stick around as a community-focused yoga studio after all this craziness ends. So we really do appreciate each and every single one of you who take the time to donate to us. So today we are going to do a Yoga Sweat hybrid class, which this is our combination class of a little bit of athletic, upbeat, kind of power-based yoga that's going to get your heart pounding and your muscles stronger. So know that there are lots of ways to modify and change this. And also, if you're feeling it, only do half of it. Okay? All week, I'm focusing on this idea of the new normal, a statement that we are hearing all the time right now with COVID-19. And that was part of my dad's journey with cancer and was their statement. If you go back to yesterday's class, the All Levels Flow, I kind of tell the story of that. And today, I want to expand on this idea of normal, because what is normal, right? And there's this Broadway play out there called, it's actually off Broadway, it's no longer showing anymore, which is irrelevant, but anyway, called Next to Normal. And the songs come up on my playlist all the time. And I really just kind of fell in love with that name and that idea of being next to normal, because none of us are normal, because again, what does that even mean? So today, as we're flowing through this hybrid-based work experience, I want you to consider, how can you be okay being a little next to normal? Sound good? We'll talk more as we move. I want you to start in a child's pose today. So child's pose has us sitting at the back of our mat, toes together, knees apart. Our arms reach forward and forehead comes to the mat. Just in this position, allow your head to rock side to side. Feel the skin of your forehead on the mat. We're going to use this pose throughout today in some different ways. And I want you to just feel the weight of your heels or your hips back towards your heels, your hands on the mat. Press your palms into the mat. Get this long feel across your upper back. Walk your hands to the right side of the mat. Get a great stretch. So we're going to do some different work today that's going to work into your upper back. I want you to feel this just great length right now. Come back to center. Sit back into that just a little bit more. So as I was planning for today and thinking about what I wanted to do and the stories to share as it relates to this next to normal, you stay in child's pose. Actually, go ahead and walk your hands to the left side. I was kind of reminded of some of the times when I said I was going to open or take over ownership of a yoga studio, I think it's an interesting concept because for my friends who know me, I've been teaching yoga since 2005, so about 15 years now. But I also have this very athletic, I was a runner, kind of high energy, high intensity person. Come back to center and sit back. So for a lot of people to see me in that yoga kind of world was very unique to them. Let's come onto all fours. Round your spine, look into your belly. And then arch, look to the sky. We're just going to move through a couple cat and cows. I thought about that a lot, and I kind of thought about my identity in the yoga space, and I realized that, I am a little non-traditional. I may not be what is considered a lot of times a typical yogi, quote unquote, whatever that means. But what I do know is that I have found a lot of mental clarity and happiness on my yoga mat. Just like I used to on the road running, my yoga mat has been a place of serenity and calm. And I realized, you know what? Maybe my story of who I am as a yogi is different than what people oftentimes think of. But how does that make it any less valid? And how does that make me any less appropriate to own a studio that focuses on yoga and movement? And I started to go, I'm okay being who I am and being the person who might not be the story that everyone thinks of. Because there's other ones just like me. That we may not fit that mold of what people think of when we think about yoga, but that we love it. Let's return to a neutral spine. Let's lift right arm and left leg. Find that long balance. Lift up out of your belly and reach long. And whether your story is that it's kind of your mental personality, or maybe you don't have the body that people think a yogi should have, or whatever. Let's just ditch all those, come back down, all those expectations. Let's get rid of those things in our head that tell us that this is not what we should be doing because of this and this and this and this. Let's be a little next to normal. Let's be okay with it. Come back down. You're going to lift your right arm and left leg. Big deep inhale. Exhale as you pull your knee into your nose. Lengthen long away. Inhale. Exhale, pulling. Reach long. So we're trying to reach our elbow to our nose as we round in and lengthen long as we extend. Because the more we can be okay with knowing that our story is different than other stories, knowing that maybe we take a different take on something that everyone else thinks of one way, and we zig when others zag, right? It's okay. Extend long, inhale. Exhale down. One more time, lengthen long. Pull in, find the rounding of your spine and the lengthening of your fingers. In a lot of ways, that's what Yoga Sweat Hybrid is. There's a lot of people out there in the community who think that we need to keep yoga in its purest form, and I do believe that there's a place for that. But I also believe that there's a place for those of us who want it a little bit modern, for lack of better terms, in this 21st century versions, who want to move our body beyond just 26 regular positions and look for ways to be a little unique, reach long, and different. We're going to come onto our forearms. Press your palms into the mat, tuck your toes, or lift your knees and then tap your toes and pull them up. So tap and lift. As we're in this long, flat line with our body, we're pulling our abdominal muscles in tight, and we're tapping our knees down and up. We press our palms into the mat to get more activation into our abdominals. Hold your knees lifted. Big, deep inhale. You're going to lift your hips up and then lower them down. So I want you to go up fast and then melt down slow. It's like someone wants to come under you and take like a big burst of air that just lifts you up really high. So it's and melt down. And so today, you'll see moves that come from yoga, that come from Pilates, that come from a program called Animal Flow, that come from the functional movement world, that just kind of come from a lot of different places. And in so many ways, again, being that next to normal, that zigging when everyone else is zagging, gives us the freedom to do that. Come to your knees, sit back to child's pose. Your forearms are going to come onto the ground. So you might want to look up so you can see this because it's going to be kind of a weird little position. Your forearms come to the ground. Notice my hips, they stay high. I'm going to kind of walk my arms a little more forward. And you're going to thread your body through so you're like a snake in the grass, comes into a little sphinx pose, and then you sit back to your child's pose. This time, let's have our palms off the ground. Your hips lift as you walk through. Forearms come onto the ground. Snake through. Great, let's do it 2 more times. So we're going to call this snake in the grass today. Because you're like slithering through. Slither, 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 slither. And then you're like that little cobra head. And I hate snakes, so let's be real. It's like, let's be a nice, friendly snake if we have to be a snake. And come all the way through. Our abdominals are tight. We lower our chest to the ground, and then we lift up just a little bit. Beautiful. Tuck your toes under. Hands come by your shoulders. Lift your body up to a plank position. Now, first time plank on hands. Let's press our palms into the mat. Hold that long position. Big deep inhale as your hips lift to the side. Exhale, you're going to come back to plank. Tap toe in. Step back. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, step. Boom. Back. Lift. In. Back. Right, so each time, press your palms a little bit more into the mat. Find a way to engage the center of your body and be in movement this entire time. So I want you to constantly be moving. Notice there's no stop or stop. Start or stop. So last one right here. Pull in. Reach back. Hold downward dog. Bend one knee at a time. Your palms press into the mat so that your upper back is coming flat. What we don't want to see is you kind of in this position. Your hips are high, your heels reach low. One, lift both heels up, bend your knees, just step to the front of the mat. Roll yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. Lift your arms high to the sky. And get this great stretch over to the right. Oh, it just feels so nice. Lift to center, stretch over to the left. So you're leaning out the side of your body. Lift high. Your hands come behind your back. Interlace them. Lift your chest high to the sky. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold. Step back into a plank position. Lower yourself to your forearms. Big deep inhale, bend your knees. Exhale. Exhale. So each time, again, you gain a little bit of heat through your abdominals. One more time. Hold that position. Now, take your knees wide. Sit back to your child's pose. Lengthen long, and let's be that snake through the grass. So we snake our chest through, we lift up, and we sit back to child's pose. We are not doing it again, at least not right now. Big deep inhale. Exhale as we come forward, lift into plank, downward dog. Lift your right leg to three-legged dog. So it's this first time that we're really getting any stretch into our legs. Hips are down, and you're gonna just kind of move your knee in and around. And I want you to get just hip mobility. And don't worry about it looking like I look or anything. You want to find this in a way that truly is you. Hold the leg high, deep inhale. Now step your foot in to meet your hands. Step your back foot in to meet, forward, forward. Bend your knees, sit low into chair. Reach back, or lift a heel, reach your arms back. You know there's days when sometimes words don't want to come out like they are supposed to? Apparently that's what I'm having right now. Lift and lower. That's okay. That's who we are. We all have moments. And that's the challenge of going live, right? And one more time. Sit low. Now lift up high. Inhale. Reach to the right side. Oh, come up to center. Reach to the left side. Come up to center. Forward fold. Inhale, step back to plank. Lower down to your forearms. 2 times. Drop your knees and rise. Drop your knees. And then sit your way back to your child's pose. This is going to transition into something else today, so just kind of know that. Lift your chest, snake through the grass. Hands come by your chest. Lift your thighs. Come to plank, downward dog. Left leg lifts high to the sky. Bend your knee and circle around. And as you're doing this, just kind of see how you can be a little bit unique. I won't lie, I am a technique junkie, meaning I love learning about technique. I want to know exactly where every part of the body should be and how we should look. Lift your right leg high, or left leg high. Step your foot in between your hand. Bring your back foot to meet it. Forward fold. Sit low into our chair. Arms reach forward, lift both heels. And then reach and lift. But by doing that, by being this like major technician, I have mastered pretty good technique. But sometimes I become very rigid, meaning like I will force myself into a position that doesn't necessarily feel great on my body. At least that's been my story over time. Stay lifted right here. Bring your hands in front of you. Hold, lower yourself down to the floor. Hands come by your feet. Step back, step or jump if you've got the capabilities to jump back. I don't with my ankle. Find plank, lower down to your forearms. Bend your knees and lift. Bend and lift. Sit back. Now, watch how I'm going to do this. We're going to go back to child's pose to start. But then my palms press into the mat and my knees lift off the floor. Notice how I have this knee lift. This is from a program called Animal Flow, and this is called Loaded Beast. And I want you to find that position. Okay, so your knees are out, but lifted off the floor. Take a big deep inhale. Exhale, you're going to lift your hips. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, we're going to go down through a chaturanga, so elbows by the side of our body. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, back to your loaded beast. Let's do that again. Hips lift, round. So actually just come forward into plank first. Down through chaturanga, lift up, back. So now watch how I do this just a little bit differently. I'm gonna lift my hips and then one vertebrae at a time. I'm coming all the way through and then I drop my chest and kind of look to the sky. So it's this like very weird version of an up dog. Then I tuck my chin, I look to my belly and round, lift my hips and sit back to loaded beast. Let's bring knees to the ground, child's pose. We're gonna do that again. So lift your knees, lift your hips, round forward. So I've got this great big rounding in my body as I then lift and look to the sky, drop the hips to the ground, tuck my chin, arch my upper back, round, 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 round. Sit back to child's pose. Loaded beast, lift your knees off the ground one more time. Lift high. Use your breath, articulate through. Tuck your chin. Lift your upper back. Feel the articulation through each vertebrae of your spine, just like in the cat-cow we were doing earlier. Let your knees touch the ground and come forward through that snake in the grass. Now you can see kind of how that snake in the grass feels similar, right? Toes tuck, lift up, plank, downward dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. So I was saying, I'm this big technician and I really have this challenge of sometimes making sure everybody and everything looks exactly right. And about almost 3 years now, actually, I had a second ankle reconstructive surgery that kind of changed my story. Pull your knee into your nose, step your foot in between your hands. Lift your arms up to crescent, but we're not staying here. Hands come right back down, step back to plank, back to downward dog. Left leg lifts. And I realized the importance of letting everyone experience their own story. Of knowing that every time we do something, it might be different because our body responds differently. Pull our knee in. Step. Lift our arms. Just one big inhale. Hands come back down. Exhale. Step back to loaded beast. Right here. Now let's articulate. Lift your hips. Round your spine. Come all the way through. Drop your hips, look up. Chin tucks in. Round up. Loaded beast. Big deep inhale. You're going to shoot forward to plank. Inhale. Fun, right? Exhale, downward dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Lift up, crescent. Come forward with your arms. So now I'm leaned into this front leg. My chest tries to come off the leg, but we're really feeling this strength into our front leg. Big deep inhale. Your back foot is going to step in. Whew. Chair. How fun. Hold this position. Sit a little lower. The left foot, so the same foot you just stepped forward, is going to step back. Inhale, exhale, step back. Now, instead of coming into chair, I'm going to bring my hands back so you can see this a little better. Now, do a big deep inhale. Step your back foot in, tap your toe, and reach back. Reach and pull. And pull. So I'm getting this little tap and length. Notice my body pretty much stays the exact same, right? It's this long line from my head to my toe. Maybe you're up much higher than I am. Cool. I just talked about the value of you doing you, of being okay to be a little bit unique. Let's keep our foot back. Whew. You should feel a little bit work into that front leg. Lift your chest. Exhale, hands come by our foot. Step back to loaded beast. Knees out wide. Lift your hips, articulate. Come all the way through. Lift our chest. This also comes from the animal flow world. I'm in a brain fart on what it's called, but I promise to put it in the notes. Lift back. Stretch forward fast into plank. Downward dog. Notice there's times today, lift your left leg, where I'm asking you to move with some speed, with some urgency. And if you can hear my breath, that's what I want you to use to inhale. Exhale, step your foot in between your hand, lift up to crescent, and then lean forward. Find that long line. Inhale, step your back foot in. Hold, 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 hold. Pull your abdominal muscles in tight. Now same leg, so same foot, steps back. Hold. Now I'm gonna bring arms back. Big deep inhale. Let's tap our toe. And back. And reach. So find that place where you can reach your arms forward, where you can lengthen your leg back. 2 more. Breathe. Hold this one back. Lift your arms. Feel that great stretch. Exhale, hand beside foot. Step back. Downward dog. Bend your knees. Loaded beast. Articulate. Lift your hips. Articulate through each vertebrae. You know, I've realized also in life, it's okay. We can't always remember the name of something, and we can't always get our words correct, because that's kind of who we are, right? We're not always perfect. Big deep inhale. Exhale, shoot forward. Downward dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Bend your knees so it crosses over. Inhale, rise. Exhale, knee to nose. Lift up. Knee to same elbow. Find that length. Rise and lower your leg. Three-legged dog on the other side. Push your palms into the mat. Feel that press. Cross your knees. You pull your abdominal muscles in even more. Lift up high. Inhale. Ask yourself, what's a way that I can tell this story of this abdominal work in a way that feels good to me? Lift up high. Exhale, foot down. Inhale. Exhale, sit back to loaded beast. Lengthen your hips high to the sky. Let's find the articulation. Drop your hips. Find that lift of your chest. Squeeze your butt, then tuck your chin. Articulate, round back up. Loaded beast. Big deep inhale. You're going to step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Step back to loaded beast. This will become something else in a little bit today. Step your left foot. But for now, this is where we're at. We are stepping our foot to the outside of our hand. Come back. One more time, step your foot to the outside. Step back to loaded beast. And let's just drop for a moment to child's pose. Reach your arms forward. Come up so that you are on top of your knees. Toes tuck under. So you should find this spot where all 10 toes are attached to the floor. We're going to be seated on our hips and our heels. Reach your arms forward. Big deep inhale as you lift your hips up. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, rise. Feel this weight drop down into your heels so that your toes and your feet are getting some work. Now lift up high, inhale. Reach your right hand so it tries to touch your back heel. I do not want a full camel right now. So we are only doing one arm. Inhale, rise. Sit back down. Inhale, arch. Look over your back shoulder. Come back up. Sit low. Let's do that one more time. So what we're doing, we are lifting up. Now maybe this hand just waves at your back foot, right? Or maybe we can get that little bit of arch in our back. Sit low. Lift high. Exhale, arch. Come all the way back up to center. Exhale, come to all fours. Take the tops of your feet, just kind of tap them out. Ooh, that should get a little bit intense into our feet if you really allow that weight to sit back. Walk your forearms onto the mat. Come into plank position like we were at earlier today. Drop your knees, tap the floor, and then lift one leg high. Come back in. Knees, lift other leg. Remember that kind of fast movement? Drop, knee. I just did it without a leg. It's a perfect place. Come back in. Tap, lift, rise. What I'm trying to get you to do is engage the center of your back. Last one. Hold right here. Hold plank. Hold, 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 hold. Lift onto your hands. Sit back, downward dog. Hold downward dog. Lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Now, you're going to bend your knee, open your chest. If this feels good, this is where I want you to stay. Or if you know and feel comfortable, we're going to flip our dog over. So we're going to bring both feet to the floor, planted. Arm reaches back, and we have this lift in our mid-back as our arm reaches back behind us. We lift our hips, pull in tight with our tummy muscles. Now, inhale, rotate back around so this top arm comes in, touches the floor, and then we find our three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, step your foot in between your hands. Rise up, crescent. Lean forward. Step your back foot in to meet your front, child's or chair. Step your back foot back, or your front. I hope you know what I meant there. Step your foot back. Lean forward, reach our arms. So our left foot is going to tap in. And back. And back. Two more times. Stay low in this position. Hold. Hold, 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 hold. Bring our hand down beside our foot. Step back to loaded beast. Articulate our hips up. Round forward. Lift our chest. Drop our hips. Press our palms into the mat. Tuck our chin. Lift up. It's being a little bit different, right? Shoot forward to plank fast. Lift our hips down. Left leg lifts to three-legged dog. Open your leg up. Now flip the dog over if that feels good. So where are we at? Hips lift, back arm points to the back of the room. We lift and we press. I like it here with both feet planted on the floor for flip dog versus wild thing that has one leg extended. They are both beautiful places. This just feels a little bit more sturdy and stable to me. So I choose this place. Remember, I'm at the point in life where I choose what feels best. Inhale, rotate the arm around. Lift our leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the foot in between hands. Beautiful. Rise up. Exhale, step your back foot to meet your front, child's pose. Oh my goodness, chair. Take your right leg, step it back. Tap it in. Reach and lengthen. Reach and lengthen. Again, this whole practice today is a way to take what we're used to, so a crescent position, right? And make it just a little bit next to normal. A little bit different. Step back. Reach your arms high. Exhale, hands come beside foot. Step back, loaded beast. Right here. Lift our hips high. Articulate through. Again, these are all kind of familiar-ish in the yoga world, but with a slight twist. Tuck your chin. Sit back. Child's pose in. Loaded beast. Inhale. Exhale, forward to plank. Downward dog. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, take your knee to your opposite elbow. Your leg is going to open and extend out to the side, and your body is going to open. I'm going to turn so you guys can see that. So I was in downward dog. I cross my knee, and then my leg extends out to the side. And my back foot, notice, rotates to the floor. Lift hips. Come back and take your hand to the floor, then lift to three-legged dog. Exhale back to downward dog. Both feet on the floor, both hands press into the mat. Left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Thread through, open up. Lift our chest. Feel the press back of our shoulder. Top hand comes to the floor. Lift back to three-legged dog. Exhale back to downward dog. I really want to be a child's pose today. Sit back into loaded beast. Big deep inhale. Your right foot steps to the outside of your right hand, and your right hand is going to lift off the floor. Inhale. Exhale, step. Notice everything right here. Step back. Left foot. Step. And back. Step. And back. Hold. Now everyone for real. Knees on floor, child's pose. Lift onto your toes, knees together, arms reach high, toes are tucked. Exhale, sit back to your partial camel. Reach. Inhale high. Exhale, reach. Sit onto your heels, sit low. Lift high, arch. Sit low. So we're finding this little bit of dynamic rotation. One more time each side. You can look to that back foot. So it is different than a camel, which has your hips stay forward. I want you to get that spinal rotation. Sit low. Hands reach to floor. Step back, plank. Inhale, exhale, down dog. Okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to put a lot of things that we've been doing together. So sit back to loaded beast. Inhale, lift your hips high to the sky. Exhale, articulate through all the way forward. Lift your chest. Tuck your chin. Lift up, loaded beast. Inhale, exhale, forward to plank. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, open your hips. Lift to wild thing or flip dog. Not here long. Inhale, rotate your hand back around. Lift to the sky. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow, thread through, open up to falling star. Inhale, come back down. Lift your leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, foot beside other, down dog. Inhale, exhale, sit back to loaded beast. We're gonna step the foot to the outside of the hand. Inhale, exhale, lift your right arm. Hold, lift up. Oh, crescent. Inhale, back leg steps forward, chair. Left foot steps back. Woo. Let's tap our toe. And reach. Find this fluid movement. Step back. Hands lift. Hand beside foot. Three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Hold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, foot down. Bend your knees, sit back to child's pose. Lift up on to your legs. Lengthen high, partial camel. Rotate. Sit onto your heels. Rise up. Fluid motions. The transitions, in a lot of ways, are what I'm trying to get you to think about. It's not necessarily what one pose looks like, but it's the transition to get there. Hold. Inhale, and kind of lean forward. Exhale, hands walk out, plank, downward dog. Because transitions are what matter in life. They're what keep us pushing through. Inhale, left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, open up, warrior, flip dog, or wild thing. So it's like right here, this transition, where you bring your arm around, your hips stay high, and then you use the abdominals to flip. That's where we want to be. Thread our knee in, open up. It can become really easy to only focus on like this pose, and then how you get to the next one, you ignore. And that's what I want you to think about. Hand comes down, lift up. Foot comes to meet the other one. Bend your knees, loaded beast, right here. Front step through, lift your left hand. Lift your arms. Crescent. Back foot steps into chair. Left foot steps back. And rise. And lengthen. And tap to reach. Hold our leg back. Lift our arms high. Inhale. Exhale. Hand comes down. Step back, downward dog. Bend your knees, child's pose. Lift up high. Arms reach, thread around. Sit low. Lift high. You find your pathway, right? You find what makes this feel so amazing to you. Let's walk our hands forward and just hang on to all fours. Round your spine, look into your belly. Arch, look to the sky. Big movement through our back right here. We have one last little variation on this flow, okay? One last place that we're gonna go that's really gonna take you to feeling like normal. Why do we want normal? Sometimes it's fun to play, right? Let's sit back to child's pose, real child's pose. Lift our knees, loaded beast. Inhale, hips rise. You know this place by now. Your hips are super high. You articulate one vertebrae at a time. Let your chin tuck be the last thing that rises. Now tuck your chin back and really have the fun of movement. Inhale, forward to length. Exhale, downward dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Flip your dog over. Oh, lift up high. See how far you can reach the back of the ground. Flip around, use the transition. High up. Thread your leg through. Open out to the side. Come back to center. Lift your leg high. Plant it down beside the other one. Now you're gonna walk your feet in. So you're trying to keep your hips lifted as high as you can. Oh, get to where you can go with your hips still lifted. And then bend your knees. Just kind of a fun way to get there. Hands forward, knees lifted an inch off the ground. For those who might do Yoga Sweat Hybrid last week with me, we did this move. It's called Beast. Our knees lift off the ground an inch. We find that place. Very similar to all those plank knee taps that we did earlier. But now we're gonna tick-tock our knees. So they go side and center and side and center. We pull our abdominal muscles in tight, yes? Knees stay about an inch off the floor. Now stay here. Take your right leg, lift it off the mat, and then it's gonna kick through to the other side where your leg threads through. It's called a side kick through. We come back to center, and we side kick through on the other side. So notice my leg is lengthened, my arm and chest open. Come back. I want you to slowly do that one more time each side. Back to beast each time. Thread. Come back. Bend your knees. Lift your hips in. Reach back. Oh. Inhale. Rise. Exhale. Sit low. Hands come down. Loaded beast. Sit back. Right leg. Front step through. Lift your right hand. Crescent. Chair. Tap back. And in. See yourself where everyone is going one way. And maybe you are doing things a little different in life. Step back. Reach high. And you are finding the amazing feeling of being uniquely you. Lift up, three-legged dog. Foot down. Loaded beast. Other side. We lift our hips. And fall through. The play that I said the next to normal title, it's actually about this woman who has multiple mental health conditions. I think she's bipolar, depression, which is part of bipolar, a lot of different things. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog, flip over. But it's how she lives her life dealing and managing those mental health conditions. Maybe you are one of the millions of people in the world who deals and manages some mental health condition every day. First off, you need to applaud yourself for making it through each day. Because as a person who's dealt with anxieties and depression throughout life, it's not always easy, right? Come back down, lift up. Step your foot down. Inhale, push forward. Down dog, loaded beast. Inhale, left foot steps forward. Reach our arms high. We have to applaud ourselves for what we can do. Step our back foot in. Tap your back foot. Because every one of us has a story that makes us the unique humans that we are. And that's what's so cool about life, I think, is that we all have something. Step back, lift high. Hand beside foot, step back, three-legged dog. Take your foot down. Walk your feet in just as close as you can go. And then when you can't get any further, Bend your knees and come to all fours. Beast. Let's side kick through. Lift our knees 2 inches off, or an inch off the ground. Take your left foot this time. Thread it through. Can you get a little faster? Thread. With urgency, come back to center. Center. I'm going to give you an option right here. We haven't jumped at all today, but if you want, it's a little tiny jump onto your foot. Notice I get this like, whoop. I don't jump in life anymore, but this is a jump I can actually do. And I think it's kind of fun. Last one. Come forward, sit your knees down, lift up in, exhale, sit your way down. Inhale, exhale, lift high, sit low. And we're just gonna hang out here. Find that place where all 10 toes are on the ground. Maybe you have to walk your feet in a little closer. You kind of adjust. We're gonna sit for a moment. Wrap our brain around what we just did, around that experience that got me a little sweaty, a little bit of strength, and a lot of movement. Again, remembering that how and what you tell yourselves about expectations of what something looks like or what an experience is like, that's the mentality that we go into it with. If we always say that a yoga practice has to be this or it has to be that, maybe you're missing out on an opportunity that might give you exactly what you need. Let's sit, or take our feet, let's just tap them out for a moment. And then find a seated position. Doesn't it feel good to sit after all that difficult work we've done? We're gonna bring the bottoms of our feet together. Press our feet, our hands into the ground and our feet into each other. Now notice my heels are pretty close in towards me, right? I've got kind of flexy hips in this position. You might find that this further away is so much more comfortable for you. Again, find what works for you. Sit tall, press your knees down to the ground. You're going to extend your right leg out to the side. Lengthen out the side of your body and then look up and over towards your leg. Your chest is rotated. All that kind of side kick throughs and our flip dog, wild thing, our falling star, all of that was in this kind of motion as well. We're going to do one more kind of thing like that. Your left hand's going to spiral behind you. Your right arm lifts. It's kind of like a gate. Come back down. Lengthen over. Inhale. Exhale, open up. Maybe you're like, I don't want to open up anymore, Summer. Cool. You stay in the place that feels good to you. Lift up. Last time. Come back to center. Bottoms of your feet come together. Lift your chest. That proud chest moment. Reach the left leg out to the side. Lift tall. Inhale, reach over. There's actually been research out there that has shown that individuals who identify female have this tendency a lot of times to round a little bit as a human and as a body posture. You know, you may I mean, whoever you are, notice that you do that as well. And sometimes it's like a shaming of ourselves. Like, not necessarily that we are ashamed of ourselves, but that we're trying to hide, lift up. And all these different chest openers, I want you to not hide who you are. I want you to be proud and excited of who you are. Of that unique human that may walk next to you, right? One who doesn't care what people want to think about their hair or their piercings or their tattoos or their clothes, just wants to be them. You find that person. You be okay with that person. Bring your feet together. Let's actually just cross our legs here. Sit up super tall. Sits bones into the ground. Hands to heart center or on the tops of your legs, wherever feels good. All this week, I'm choosing to finish with a seated meditation versus a lying shavasana. If you absolutely crave a lying shavasana and your yoga practice isn't complete without it, please go there. Like I said, I'm making the choice to do a seated meditation. So in this seated place, with your eyes shut, your body tall, feel your breath. Acknowledge how your natural, normal breath cycle feels. In your mind, I want you to picture yourself living the life that you want. What does that mean? What does that look like? What does it smell like? Who are the people that you surround yourself with? What is the culture of the city? Or the mountains, or the beach, or the tiny countryside? See yourself transporting in whatever way that you like, whether it's by bus, by car, by bike, by foot, to get to your dream job. Picture and see yourself walking into the doors of the building, of that job that makes you happy. And you know what? Maybe that's a work from home job and that's your house. A job doesn't always have to look like what people expect it to. Maybe the one thing that you want to be in life as a parent. And that's what you crave. See it. As you picture yourself walking through the days in this beautiful place that you've imagined for yourself, know that even if that's not where you're at right now, that's okay. Know that sometimes it takes just a little shift of our mind to allow us to figure out the life that we want. Yeah, we can't necessarily pack up our belongings into a pod and move across country. My husband and I did that once. Maybe that's not your story and your truth, but just visualizing it. Just visualizing that next to normal experience. That is what will help you get to the next step, to the next phase. Take one more big breath in. See, embrace that place, that happy spot for you. Take your arms, wrap them around your body to give yourself a great big gratitude hug for allowing ourselves to work through this opportunity. Exhale. Take one more big deep inhale up. Know that the picture that you saw is probably different than the picture of the person next to you or that I saw. And that's what makes you, you. Be willing to zig when others zag. Find your next to normal every day. Until next time, I'm Summer. Thank you. That was my knee just locking for anyone who might have just been around. Ooh, that was a fun moment.